Hi, my name is Jimmy Cannon, singer and voice coach, nurturing confidence through the power of the voice to deliver your message with presence and authority. So, can we solve our stutter by singing? Well, not entirely, but it's definitely going to move a little bit further to connecting the words to the sound. When we sing, we use predominantly the right side of the brain. This is the right side for me, and that's the creative side, whereas the left side of the brain is for cognitive use or for speech. So by singing, we're sort of tricking the brain and the mind to send different messages to our muscles within the larynx. Also, when we sing, we're performing a monologue as such. So as opposed to a dialogue or a conversation where you might be interrupted or being judged in a different way. We also use different muscle groups in the larynx when we're singing. So that's sort of, in a way, again, tricking the brain to say, actually, we're singing, but we could be speaking. Who knows? What I suggest you practice is breath control and ease the words out instead of forcing them out by stretching out the sounds to make them longer. Here's an exercise to help you connect the words to the sound. Okay, so let's start with what's called an unvoiced fricative, which is a shh. I mean, we're just going to feel the air, but we're going to slightly suppress the air, and we're going to really connect to the abdominal muscles around here to support the breath. That's really, really important. So if you've got a chance, have a look at my video on breathing and correct breathing. And I think that will definitely help you with just controlling not only the in-breath and the amount of breath that you need to speak. What's more important really for speaking is the out-breath and the controlling that exhale. So let's go. So we're going to go shh, nice and long, take a breath in, and shh. Good. We're now going to change that to a voice fricative, and that's going to become a J sound or a zh sound. So what's happening here is that we're engaging the vocal folds, but we're making it very long. It's just a long, controlled sound. And again, we're kind of singing. We're not really, but we're just elongating that sound that we would normally use for vowel sounds. And because obviously a consonant is a very short sound, there's no real tone within a consonant. It's mainly using the fricatives in the mouth here. So, but vowel sounds are much more of an open tone to the sound. So So from a sh to a zh. Here we go. Take a breath in. And sh. In fact, put your fingers here so you can feel the change from an unvoiced sound to a voiced sound. And I want you to think of the days of the week, or it could be an excerpt of your presentation, just a sentence or a short paragraph. And I just want you to think about speaking it. So as you're making the sound, I just want you to think about it. If you don't have anything to hand, then let's just use the days of the week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, and we're going to think that as we create a sound, as what's called in tone of the sound. Here we go. Okay, so that was the days of the week. Again, it could be anything you want to. It could be part of your presentation or your speech. So practice that a few times as you're saying it in your mind. Now what we're going to do is we're going to say the words, but we're going to intone them. So what that means is we're going to sing one pitch. It doesn't have to be an amazing sound. It doesn't have to be a particular pitch. It just has to be one pitch. So if I was to say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it would be like this. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay, so let's just do that together. Days of the week. Nice and slow. Take a breath. And in fact, just before you do that, let's just do that sh to the zh again. And while you're thinking about the days of the week, here we go. Sh. Then we're going to take a breath and we're going to say the days of the week, but we're going to intone them on one pitch. Here we go. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And try to use all your breath. So practice that. once you're happy with that and you're not stuttering or you're not stopping in between, and you shouldn't do, because that constant breath control on the exhale should be tricking your mind and saying, actually, I'm singing. So now put it into context and take part of your presentation or an excerpt of your speech and say the line. So for instance, if I was to say, here's an example or an exercise to help you connect the words to the sound, then I would say, here's an exercise to help you connect the words to the sound. And have a little bit of a play around, actually, and sing them, make it a little bit more of a song. So, here's an exercise to help you connect the words to the sound. And have a bit of fun. So, this exercise is to learn to speak fluently in a slow monotone voice, which is intoning, and slowly build that back to your normal voice. So as I'm speaking, I'm trying to keep the breath going, I'm controlling the breath, and I'm intoning in my head. I'm sort of, connecting all the vowel sounds in between the consonants and in between the words. So it's just one fluid flow of sound. I really hope that helps, and I hope to speak soon. By the way, if you would like to work with me, I offer one-to-one sessions on everything to do with the voice and communication.